Welcome to Leisha Today. So today I'm going to show you guys how to engrave with your xTool S1 20-watt laser, a 40-ounce tumbler. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get your tumbler ready. So I'm going to take the lid off, and then I have a screwdriver so I can take off the handle. So you can see there is 2 screws you need to take out on here. So then you'll have these little tabs on here. So what you want to do is you want to get some pliers to try to flatten those out so that they don't get stuck on the rotary once you put it on. So what you're going to do is you're going to take these and just be very careful and just flatten them out. Next thing you want to do is you want to measure so that you get your perimeter. And so right here, to me, it looks like it is, let's see, it looks like it's about 12 and then 1, 2, 3, the third tick mark. So we'll use that. And then for the height, it looks like it's about 9.75. So I wrote down the sizing on a piece of scrap paper so that I can plug it into xTool Creative Space when it's time. So now we're just going to put some painter's tape to try to make sure we don't mess up our design. So I'm just going to put some painter's tape on, wrap it a couple of times so that we can do a test to make sure our design is going to engrave properly. All right, so next we'll go to xTool Creative Space so that we can do our test design to make sure that it's gonna engrave correctly when we go to engrave the entire design. Now that we're in xTool Creative Space, what you want to do is you want to change your setting from laser flat to laser cylindrical. And then we're going to change your mode to chuck. And then for the perimeter, we're going to put in, I believe I said 12, and then that was 3 tick marks. I'm going to leave the diameter in how it's set it. And then we're going to go to insert rectangle. We're going to draw a rectangle. Okay, so for this, I'm going to do the width. You can push this unlock here to unlock it. The width, we're going to make it the 12.3. And then for the height, we're going to make this a 0.4. And you guys can put whatever height that you want, but I'm just going to use this one. And then you're going to go here to rotate. And you're going to change this to 90 and then move it down. And then for the power, we're going to make this be, say, 10. And the speed, we're going to do 40. and then we'll have it do one pass. Okay, so now we are going to move on to setting up your tumbler on the at the S1. So I wanted to show you guys real quick, since I was engraving on the honeycomb, how easy it is just to take out your honeycomb in your tray to put in your rotary attachment. So you just slide this out and just put it in a place that you have designated for your tray. Close this back here. And it's off because you want your machine to be off when you're going to plug this in. And right now I have this attachment on here, so let me show you guys how you can change out the attachment to do your tumbler. Okay, so I just took these all out. You just unscrew those if you had this on there. And then you want to get both of your tools for this. So both of these, your bigger one and your smaller. So for your bigger one, you're going to use that to take the screw off from right here and from right here. Okay, and make sure you keep track of your screws. So I usually just have them, I just put them back in a little bin I have made for them. And then what you're going to do for this one is you're going to move it across and then pull it out. And again, make sure you keep a hold of all your pieces. So this comes out and this piece just attached, but that can be put on back on like this. Okay, so keep a hold of all your pieces. And then what you want to do next is you want to take your smaller one and you're going to find the screw in here and you're going to take that one out. So that one looks like this. It's like a little tiny. And then the same thing for this bottom one. And that tight. Okay. It might be two of them. So there's one on this side and then another one on this side. So I'm going to take this one off. And just so they don't get lost, I'm going to put them back in this little bag they came in. And then I'm going to take this other one off on this side with the smaller. Okay, so that's the second one. Okay, so then that comes off. Keep a hold of your pieces. All right, so then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the attachments that I'm going to use for this. So for this one, I'm going to use, where is it? So they have like both these and then they have this kind. So let's see. You can use whichever one you choose. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and maybe use these and see how these work. And then just grab all the screws that go to them. So I keep them in there too. So let's see. So then how you put these on is you just line them up on here and then you put the screws inside of there. So I'll just show you guys how to do one and then I'll show you how to put it on there. Okay, let's see. So you line up the screws and then you just put them all on each side, and then I'll get back to you guys. Okay, so I have it all put together with the inserts that I like. So now what you want to do is you want to put your rotary inside. Make sure your S1 is turned off. Make sure when you put your rotary in that it's facing this direction where you can read xTool, because if you put it in this way, it's going to be backwards and then you're going to have to mess with your design in order for it to engrave correctly. All right, so you're going to put this in here and then you're going to attach it right here. And you're going to turn on your S1. Okay, so then the other thing you want to do is you want to get this attachment or this accessory that came with your rotary, and then you're just going to place this to the side for now. Grab your tumbler and then place it onto your rotary and use your key to tighten it in place. Okay, you get it on there until it feels like it's snug. And then what you want to do is you want to grab your leveling tool so that your bubble shows up in the center. So right now you can see the bubble is right here. So we want that bubble to be here. So we're going to adjust this by using this little accessory. And as you can see, now that bubble is centered. The next thing you want to do is make sure that your laser is lined up. I'm going to try to line it up with the top of the tape. Not to say that the tape is on there. Actually, let's line it up at the top of here to make sure that that's even. So I'm just going to adjust this until that line is straight at the top. Okay, that looks good to me. And then again, I'm just going to make sure that's leveled, and it looks like it is. So the next thing you want to do is you want to put this over top and you want to get the distance. This is going to measure the distance from your tumbler to your laser. And then the next thing you want to do is the framing. So I hit the framing button in xTool Creative Space, and then you can just hit this button right here in the front. So I did the framing until it's centered where the little hand or where the handle would be. Just want to make sure that your rectangle is lined up where you have your laser. So I'm going to do that right there. And then I'm going to hit process. I'm going to close my lid. Hit start. I'm going to turn on my and then we're going to hit start. Okay, so that did that quickly. Wait for my air assist to turn off. Okay. So then you can check to see how it turned out. So we're going to take this off. All right, so I'm gonna find here. So then if you look here, you can see that it's close, but it's not overlapping. So that looks good to me. So that to me seems like that's a good design. I mean, a good perimeter. So now we'll go to engraving the design. All right, now that we got the measurements already, we're going to delete that rectangle. I'm going to leave all these settings the same because we just did those. I'm going to resize my design to fit in the square. So I'm going to make this 12.3. So I'm going to unlock it again, 12.3, and then it was 9.75. Actually, and then I'm going to change the orientation to 90. Since the top of my tumbler is facing to the right, so I'm just going to make sure that my design is also facing to the right. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and move it until it lines up with the top of where I placed it on the tumbler. So that looks good. Okay, so before we do the design, what you want to do is you want to level out your tumbler. So before we leveled it out up here, but now we're going to level it towards the bottom here, okay? So what we do is we're just going to adjust this here until that bubble is in the center. Okay. And then we'll do the framing again. I'll do it the same way I did it before. Just try to line it up with where the handle will be, and then we'll get to the engraving part. Have our design in place. Everything's all framed. We're going to just make sure the settings are set to how we want them. So it's set to engrave. I'm gonna have it go to 100 at 250. All right, so I'm going to turn on my inline fan, and then I'm going to hit the start button on here. So I had to stop it because in the middle of running it, the first settings I used, it was showing up. Let's see if you guys can see that. It was showing up too light, and then I changed the setting to faster, and then it looks like it started burning it, but it still was kind of like not how I want it. So I did a materials test, or I should say a material test array. And I thought that was cute. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me see if I can zoom you guys in. Let's see here. I think that's kind of cute. Like you can do like a tannish color. But anyways, I think I'm going to use this setting because this one looks the best. So I'm going to change the settings and then I'm going to restart it. Okay, so I restarted it so that we can see like how it does with these settings. Alright, so I'm going to change the settings, as like I said. I think the last one I did was like on 100. I already started changing it. So I'm going to change the power to 33, and I think it's at 10. And I'm going to change, I'm just going to leave that there. So I'm going to hit process, start. So it looks like it's doing a little better with this setting. So we're going to try this. It's a little slow, but we'll see how it goes. 33, 10, let me turn this off. The 33 for its 33 power, 10 speed was perfection. However, it's taking way too long, so I'm going to try a different setting that I saw. I saw 100 at 158. That one looks like it will go faster, so I'm going to try it on this one, and I'm going to restart it from this with this setting. Okay, for this particular design, it took about an hour and 14 minutes. So it is done. So there it goes. I'm going to take a magic eraser, which I've been using, and I'm going to clean it off. So I might show you guys a little bit of that. If not, just to speed things up, I'll just come back to you with it. All right, you guys. So this is the end product. It didn't turn out as I thought it would. However, this was my first time, so I feel like it did pretty good. Like I said, I did a test on here, and then there's some spots to where, you know, I started and stopped because the settings weren't right. So this entire thing is on the last setting that I showed you guys. And it looks like towards the bottom, it did not engrave as well. So it looks very faint. And I already washed it off and everything. But for the most part, the top looks good. So I just have to keep playing with the settings. But I just thought I'd share with you guys how I go through troubleshooting or figuring out the correct settings to have a product that I can end up selling. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Take care. Stay blessed.